Hi there, I'm Destiny from Nifty Knittings, and today I'm going to show you how to make this super fun pom-pom scarf. This is a toddler-sized scarf, but it is easily adaptable if you want to make a larger scarf for yourself. I am using super bulky yarn. This is Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick. I'm using the color Fisherman for the body and Blossom for the pom-poms. You will also need size 17, US size 17 knitting needles, 12 millimeter, some scissors, a pom-pom maker. I'm using Clover 3 3/8 inch pom-pom makers, and a large eye darning needle for weaving in the ends and attaching the poms. Okay, so we'll just get started. So with your super bulky yarn, we're going to cast on 3 stitches. I like to use a long tail cast on, so I'm just going to make a slip knot by pulling one end through and placing that on my needle. And then I'm just going to cast on 2 more stitches. Okay, so for the first row, we are just going to knit across. And I like to slip my edge stitches just to keep them looking a little bit neater. So I'm going to slip the first stitch knitwise to my needle, and then knit the next 2 stitches. And that's our first row. The next row is going to be an increase row. We're going to kind of make a little tapered end here for the scarf. So it starts kind of at a point and then increases out, and then you knit for the whole length of the scarf without increasing or decreasing, and then at the other end we'll decrease to kind of taper it in again, and that's where we'll attach the poms. Okay, so for the increases, we're going to slip that first edge stitch again, and then we're going to make one right. So to make one right, there's a little bar, hopefully you can see this, between the stitches, this one right here. We're going to lift it up with our left needle and then knit it. So we're going to lift it up from the back to the front and then knit through the front. Sometimes it's a little hard to get your needle in there. And that's a make one right. Then we're just going to knit 1 stitch, and then we're going to make one left. So again, we're going to lift up that stitch, that little bar in between these last 2 stitches, from the front this time to the back, like so, and then knit through the back loop. And that's a make one left. And then knit your last stitch. So we've increased 2 stitches, and we now have 5 on the needle. The next row is just going to be another plain knit row. So we're going to slip knitwise and knit across. And then we're going to alternate a plain knit row with an increase row. So we're going to do the same thing again. Slip knitwise, make one right. So again, that's picking up the bar between stitches from the back and then knitting it through the front. Oops. There it is. And then we're going to knit until we get to the last stitch. And we're going to make one left again. So bring your needle under the bar from the front to the back and knit through the back. And that makes a left leaning increase. Okay, so now we have 7 stitches on our needle, and we're going to keep doing this, increasing, having an increase row with a plain knit row until we have 9 stitches on our needle. So one more time. So this is a plain knit row. For 7 stitches, and then another increase row, and we will be all done with our increases. So again, slip knitwise, make one right, and knit to the last stitch. Now if you want to make a wider scarf, maybe an adult size scarf, you would just keep increasing until the scarf is as wide as you would like it. This is a good size for a toddler scarf. And then we're going to make one left again, and knit that last stitch. So now we have 9 stitches, and that's all we need to increase. So now all we're going to do is keep knitting until the scarf is as long as you want it. For a toddler scarf, I like to knit for about 48 inches before decreasing. So we're going to slip that first stitch knitwise and knit across. And that's all we're going to do for the length of the scarf. And real quick, I just want to show you how to do the decreases. So after the scarf is as long as you want it, we will decrease the same way that we increased. So we're going to do a left leaning decrease and a right leaning decrease on each end. So the first one is a slip slip knit. I like to slip the first stitch knitwise, slip the second stitch purlwise, and then bring your needle back through the front of those stitches and knit them together. And then we're going to knit to the last 2 stitches and do our right leaning decrease, which is just a knit 2 together. So we're just going to bring our right needle through the front of these 2 stitches together and knit them together. So just like on our increases, we're going to alternate just a plain knit row with a decrease row. So I'm just going to knit across here. And then I'll show you those decreases one more time. So we're going to slip slip knit. So slip the first stitch knitwise, slip the second stitch purlwise, then bring your left needle through the front of both stitches and knit them together. And then knit until you have 2 stitches left on your left needle. And we're going to knit those 2 together. So the next row would be another plain knit row, and then we'd have 1 more decrease row. And when you have 3 stitches left on your needle, you're going to bind off. I'll just go ahead and show you that since it's only 5 stitches left anyways. So slip, knit across, okay, 1 more decrease row. We're going to slip slip knit again. Oops. Knit 1 and knit 2 together. So we're back to 3 stitches, and we're just going to bind them off. So I knit 2 stitches, then pass the first stitch over the second, knit 1 more, and then pass it over. And I'll cut my yarn and bring the yarn through that last stitch. And that's all there is to it. So I have a nice little triangle, or diamond shape, I guess. Okay, so now for the pom-poms. If you need help making pom-poms, I have a pom-pom tutorial on my YouTube website under Nifty Knittings. Again, so this is, I use the Clover pom-pom maker, the 3 3/8 inch, and I'm going to show you how to attach them. So here's another pom-pom. So just starting at one end, at one point, you kind of find the middle stitch between those 3 stitches that we cast on, and thread one of the ends of your pom-pom through that stitch. You can use your yarn needle, but the hole's pretty big, so you can probably just use your fingers too, like I do. So I threaded 1 strand up from the pom-pom through that middle stitch, and now I'm going to thread the other strand the opposite way through that same stitch. So it kind of looks like this, and then bring 1 strand around so it kind of makes a knot, and tighten it up. And then we're going to thread them back through the same way to secure it. So back through that same stitch, and then thread this end through that stitch, and then wrap one end around so it makes a knot, and tie it nice and tight. Normally I would have woven in my white yarn at this point, so that's just kind of in the way. And then I'll show you how we weave in these ends back through the pom-pom. So take your yarn needle, and we are just going to thread it right back through the center of your pom-pom. Pull that tight, and take the other end and thread that through the pom-pom and pull that nice and tight. And then I like to fluff the pom-pom back up. Sometimes it gets a little misshapen after you thread the yarn back through. Give it a good shake, and then just trim your ends. And that's it, your poms are attached. So weave in your white yarn before you attach your poms and make life easier. And then you have a cute little pom-pom scarf. Thanks for watching.